March 24th, 2022. Halfcast 268, episode 268. Let's go. Of course, I have a few things to share with you guys. An evening of reflection. Shall we? Woman charged with murder after boyfriend killed in robbery. Whatever happened to just breaking up? A woman has been charged with first-degree murder after her boyfriend was killed during a robbery in Chicago, according to police. Akia Sims, 20, was arrested in Indianapolis on Monday in connection with the death of her boyfriend, Olaire Jones, 19, according to Fox 32. Sims was then transferred to Chicago, where she was charged with Jones's murder. She appeared in a bond court on Wednesday, where she was ordered to be held without bail. Prior to Sims' arrest, Dion Evans, 19, had been charged as one of the gunmen who shot at Jones while the latter sat inside the car with Sims in the 900 block of South Normal Avenue. Fox 32 reported. Prosecutors said Evans had arranged with a friend to have Sims and Jones come over to their home and have Sims walk out the back with Jones' gold chain. They want to set him up. Cute in the face, gun on the waist is only sexy until the gun is pointed in your direction, fellas. We have to find a safer type. But when Jones and Sims drove to the home, another friend warned them about the plan and told them to leave, according to the network. When Jones drove away, prosecutors said he stopped at Normal Avenue where a white SUV pulled up and Evans and another person allegedly fired shots at his vehicle. Several bullets struck Jones, and he was ultimately taken to Christ Medical Center in a critical condition and died of his injuries. For all the parties involved, a gold chain hardly seems worth it after you split everything up, and that's only if you get away with the robbery. Sims, who has a child with Evans, allegedly got into the white SUV. She suffered a bullet wound to her leg during the shooting, prosecutors said. Evans later took Sims to her home in Indianapolis and then a hospital where she told a witness the plan had been to rob Jones, but that it changed, said prosecutors, still according to Fox 32. I just wanted to scare him a little bit. I didn't want to kill following. This is fucked up. This is not funny at all. Following Evans' arrest, police found the gold chain in the white SUV that was registered in his mother's name, the network reported. But a Chicago Police Department news release said Sims was identified as the offender who, on January 21st, 2022, in the 900 block of South Normal Ave, shot a 19-year-old male victim multiple times, causing his death. Sims has been charged with first-degree murder. According to Gun Violence Archive, a database that collects information about shootings from across the U.S., 109 people have been shot dead in Chicago since January 1st. Man assaulted neighbor over loud music. Oh no, because people really believe that even though your neighbor's windows and walls are shaking next door, he's only wrong for coming to tell you to turn it down a little bit. Deputies said they arrested a man Monday after he reportedly assaulted his neighbor due to the victim playing his music too loud. The arrest stems from a report received on Monday on the 27,300 block of Evi Lane in Canyon Country regarding a possible assault with a deadly weapon, according to Deputy Natalie Arriaga, a spokeswoman for the Santa Clarita Valley Sheriff Station. If I can remember an officer or someone's name from a previous article, that means they've already had a busy year. It was reported the victim's neighbor strangled and kicked him in the head several times, said Arriaga. Upon arrival, deputies learned while the victim was listening to music in his garage, the suspect approached him and demanded he turn the music off, leading to a verbal altercation, resulting in the victim being physically assaulted by the suspect. I'm not supposed to be biased here, But does this really sound like something that happens when you ask someone to turn their music down one time or more than a few times? The victim sustained minor injury, however, declined medical treatment, said Arriaga. Deputies contacted the suspect at his apartment, his now very quiet and very peaceful apartment. As is his right to have one, and arrested him for assault with a deadly weapon and felony vandalism. The suspect was booked into the SCV sheriff station and remained in custody as of Wednesday. Everyone has an equal right to enjoy their music, to enjoy their entertainment on their own property. Absolutely, 110%. But just like you have the absolute right to enjoy your music or enjoy your entertainment however you see fit, the person that lives next to you also has a right to have peace and quiet if he sees fit also. Killed that man's goldfish, shook the bowl clean off the table. You gotta turn it down. Man who lived under a different name for decades, outed by COVID-19 vaccine. Whoa. What's your name, sir? Bond. James Bond. Sanders. Colonel Sanders. Federal authorities said a Tennessee man, Peyton Manning, no, who lived under a different name for decades, was outed after he received his COVID-19 vaccine. According to court documents obtained by the newspaper, authorities said Jerry Leon Blankenship of Newport, Tennessee, used the identity of another person to avoid military service after leaving the U.S. Navy in the early 1980s. That is a long time. A woman who was in a brief romantic relationship with Blankenship suggested that he used the identity of the father of her child to avoid trouble from the military, sharing important information such as the father's social security number. And that is a lot more romantic than your girlfriend shooting you in a botched robbery attempt. Authorities said Blankenship later started dating the estranged daughter of his first wife from a different relationship, and the couple ultimately settled in Newport, where they raised three children and started a home repair business together, according to court documents. He's just living like he's not on the run. Law enforcement officials became aware of Blankenship's offenses after a man reported identity theft in North Carolina, saying he's been plagued with identity theft issues for the last 2 decades. 20 years is a very long time for the system to not pick up on one social security number being used in two different places at one time. The man noted a recent incident had taken place in March 2021 when Walgreens notified him about a COVID-19 vaccine shot he never received, which led to authorities obtaining a video of Blankenship receiving the vaccine under the man's name. Court documents said it could have been worse. He could have been getting like all types of wage garnishments and everything. Blankenship, who pleaded guilty to one count of false use of a social security number and one count of aggravated identity theft on Monday, was sentenced to serve 25 months in prison, followed by 3 years of supervised release, according to the Observer. He took very good care of this man's identity because if not for the vaccine, that man could have went another 20 years with just seeing weird things, weird anomalies under his name. He probably would have thought nothing of it. Blankenship, 65, could also face a military tribunal for his desertion from the Navy, court documents noted. Rampart robbery detectives arrest two people suspected in string of blessing scam thefts. The return of Peter Popoff's miracle water. Hopefully not. Officers with the Los Angeles Police Department, LAPD, arrested a male and a female suspect in connection to a string of robberies and thefts perpetrated in a so-called blessing scam. According to an LAPD news release, the two suspects, 27-year-old Claudio Stewing and 24-year-old Madalena Pawn, are residents of Kirkland, Washington. Detectives believe the two suspects are linked to robberies in the Pico Union, Westlake, and historic Filipino town districts of LA. On Tuesday, officers with LAPD's Rampart Division observed Stoyan and Pawn approach a female victim near 12th Street and Burlington Avenue and take her jewelry before driving away. Officers stopped the suspect's rental vehicle and recovered jewelry, money, and other evidence used to commit the crimes. The release said there were also two young children in the car with them at the time of their arrest. Using children as a cover when you're committing these crimes will not save you, and most likely they will end up getting the kids in some type of other custody. So take one of those fake chains if you got to and pay a babysitter with it. Just don't use the kids in your crimes. Rampart detectives said there are more than 2 dozen cases in the area going back to February 2021 that are under investigation. The suspects generally drive an SUV style car occupied by the male driver, a female passenger in the rear seat, and one or more young children in car seats. The suspects pull up along the victims who are walking on the sidewalk and motion the victims over to the car. No, the female victim usually remains seated in the rear passenger seat of the vehicle and requests to bless the victim's jewelry or money. Hell no. The female then removes the victim's property while simultaneously placing cosmetic jewelry and or taped up pieces of lottery tickets into the victim's clothing. The release stated there's no goddamn way I'm falling for this on so many levels. I'm not approaching any stranger's vehicle because I don't want to get kidnapped and organ harvested. And the only blessing that's on my jewelry is the fact that I was able to afford any at all. Police said the 27-year-old male suspect brandished a handgun on at least one occasion, and in two other incidents, the 24-year-old female suspect blew an unknown substance into a victim's face, which disoriented them. The victims are often elderly or have special needs, and the suspects tend to focus on Spanish speaking victims around churches, the release stated. Yeah, it's definitely a niche crime. Investigators are asking for the public's help in identifying the female victim robbed on Tuesday, as well as any other identified victims of the blessing scam. In addition to the two suspects arrested, detectives believe there are additional outstanding suspects. Fun show. Fun show. Fun show. That being said, I'm going to wrap this one up, but I'll be sure to talk to you guys very, very soon. Adios.